Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next installment of the LympheDIVAs Facebook Live events. We've got a fun one for you this time. This is for our launch of the new patterns that Jill has come up with for Fall/Winter 2019. We've got some real fun ones this time, some that have kind of been part of our process for the previous years, but something that we really kind of came up with and decided it is time to share it. But I'm going to let Jill kind of take the lead here. You may remember her from a previous Facebook Live event where she talked a little bit more about how she comes up with the designs and her process. And now this is the other end of that, where the process has completed. She has finalized them, we've picked them, and almost more importantly, you have all named them. So this is the launch where we'll go through the new patterns that she's got and the names that you guys came up with them. So without further ado, Jill.
Thanks, Josh. So the collection for this fall, we usually tend to go a little darker for our fall patterns. So you'll notice that they're all very either black and white, or they have more muted colors, and there is a mix of base tones, and we did include a tattoo pattern since so many of you are so fond of the tattoo patterns. A few of them are actually more fabric or all over designs as well, because we also get a lot of requests for pattern or design that could kind of go with a few more outfits, more as an underlying layer. So without further ado, the collection this year, this particular pattern called Circuit, for very obvious reasons, is a circuit board pattern with a glowing back color of green to purple. And this design actually was in our survey a few years ago, and it didn't quite make the cut then, so we kind of reassessed the colors and relaunched it again, and a lot of people really liked it. So we'll definitely be including that in our collection this season.
And that's just a good point to remind folks that we come up with a lot of different patterns and let you guys vote on them. And just because something doesn't happen in one season doesn't mean that it wasn't liked or that we didn't like it. It's more that it's just not the right time for it. And at this point, it was the right time, and we don't have a lot of patterns in those colors, so that one's a kind of a neat one to get into the collection to see, is this something that you guys really want and like to wear, and let's give it a chance.
And the subject matter too. A lot of the stuff we do is more natural based, or we do have cyborg, which is a good complement to this, but it does fit a different niche. But yeah, so let's see. The next one down the line is a beige pattern. And so this is Juliet. And so many people saw this design with the keyhole and the key kind of half hidden in it, and it's very somber colored. It almost has a patina copper coloring in the washes. And everyone wanted to associate with Romeo and Juliet, so we ran with that, and we're happy to call it Juliet. And there's also a hidden key in the palm of the hand pieces. And this was actually a pattern that was a pencil drawing that was scanned in, and then the washes were added in afterwards. So this was a really fun one to do from my end.
So the washes were done digitally, not with a watercolor.
Well, they were watercolor, but they're scanned in separately. And then modified to kind of take on whatever style I end up. Sometimes I don't have a style in mind when I'm starting a design. I just know I want to run with these images, and then I'll kind of play with it around in the computer. The washes are more based on, I would want, a section that has a stronger value here, and then it fades out to a soft blend, and then I can kind of change the colors in post-production in the computer to kind of fine-tune the design and bring it all together.
And obviously this is another tattoo style pattern that are almost always very popular, and we're always trying to come up with new ways to introduce some new tattoo looks, but do it in a fresh way and get some things out there that you might not have seen before, or interesting things like those sort of hidden keys that get you to really kind of look at your pattern. And you know, Dina, I hope I pronounced your name right. Love that you love it. This is one of my favorites also. I mean, especially because the more you look at it, you get to find stuff in it, and you know, it's not like a Where's Waldo, but it still gives a little more depth to the pattern than what you initially see with it at first glance.
Definitely. So the next pattern is also a beige piece, but it's not a tattoo. And this is Rhythm. And this is a geometric, brightly colored pattern that we love the naming suggestion Rhythm, because it's definitely like a jazzy influenced, you know, it's just very energetic for a geometric design. And we really like the motion of where the design kind of comes off the edges. And if you see it on the modeled arm, I kind of put the arcs kind of where you would see on a jacket or something that has, or sportswear that is sewn almost like on the bias, or
what do you mean by on the bias?
So it's sewn at an angle so that with fabric, it's not so much this, but with fabric, if you sew it like up and down, it may be more prone to puckering, or so on the bias sometimes stretches a little bit better, or it flows a little bit better.
So the design itself almost incorporates how you put garments together.
Yeah, so I try and do that and also visually, sometimes when you see certain angles, it looks attractive on the human form. It also can sometimes produce an illusion where your eye is following this angle instead of the actual silhouette of the arm. So it can kind of produce an illusion of, you know, I can't think of the words.
But sort of changes the way that someone or yourself perceives your arm as a whole.
Yeah.
Which is sort of a neat technique to use, especially with what we're wearing these for, to change the way that not just visual pattern, but could even change the way that someone sees the overall shape.
Yeah, because it kind of like brings your eye back around the design instead of being like, you know, a block of color or something like that. It's definitely more engaging for certain. Like it definitely brings you in.
And speaking of patterns that have been asked for a lot, that we've tried a lot, this last one very much reflects that. We have gotten a lot of requests over the years for a plaid.
I always get myself backwards. I try and bring it in. So this is Tartan, and this is just a classic plaid design, very, very classic and traditional. You can kind of pair it with, you know, you could pair it with jeans, you could pair it with, like, you know, a nice black dress, and kind of style it up or down. It's definitely, you kind of know what you're getting with a plaid. You know, it's a good wardrobe staple. And it's an all over, so the hand pieces are very much the same as the sleeve design. There are a few of this season's patterns that have some nice little touches in the hand pieces. So for Rhythm, we did try and like do a few extras that kind of were specific to the fingers, or that also look nice on the gauntlets as well. We don't like to, you know, design for just one and then, you know, it doesn't look good on the other. We do try and make it specific to each piece. And then, as I mentioned, the key on the palm of all of our Juliet pieces. Kind of see that.
And so, you know, that sort of is our launch for fall winter. Would love to hear any feedback that you all have about things that you wished we had done, or, oh, you really did that one? That's fine. You know, the more information and the more we hear back from all of you, the better patterns we can come up with in the future. So if you aren't able or don't yet have any feedback for us during this live event, you can always email us at info@lymphedivas.com, post on our Facebook page. But, you know, we love hearing from you. You're the people that help us make what we make here. And it's your feedback that really helps us improve and get patterns and fabrics and garments out there that aren't just effective, but really reflect your style and make you feel good about putting these on.
Yeah, definitely. And especially if there are patterns that, we had in the survey, we're always listening if either they want to be re-released or, maybe we'll put them in a different survey, a different season, or rework them. As we always mention, sometimes certain subjects are requested, but the designs that kind of come through are not the best representation of those subjects. And, they don't catch enough interest in the survey. And we kind of go back to the drawing board and we reapproach them. And usually we hit on a good design, a couple tries in. But we're always listening.
We don't give up.
No, none of people want it, no.
But thank you all for your time who have been here. And again, if there's anything that you'd like to ask us or tell us, we are always reachable through our social media and through email. But thank you to everybody, and thank you to Jill, and have a wonderful day.